All right, so are you ready to dive into this ACC men's basketball tournament bracket with me?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
It is March Madness time,
It is.
and I know that you are ready to just dominate your bracket pool.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get right into it.
Sounds good.
Let's break down some of the key teams and potential upsets to get you prepped.
Yeah, it's amazing how the entire regular season just boils down to this one bracket.
It really is.
All the nail-biting games, buzzer beaters, rivalries, they all come together in this single elimination showdown.
I know. And speaking of nail-biting games, I know you were glued to the TV for that Louisville-Clemson matchup back in January.
Yeah.
What a finish.
Incredible.
Now they're sitting at the second and third seeds, respectively. But I'm curious, how did that head-to-head result actually impact the seeding?
You know, it's not just about that single game. It's the ACC tiebreaker system that really comes into play here.
Okay.
Remember, Louisville went undefeated against the rest of the top 4 teams in the conference, including Duke. That dominance against top-tier competition ultimately pushed them ahead of Clemson, despite the close loss to them earlier in the season.
Right. That tiebreaker system can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, it can be.
So let's talk about the team at the top.
Yep. Duke?
They're the reigning champs. They snagged the #1 seed, and they finished with a killer 28-3 record, going 19-1 in conference play.
Yep.
I mean, are we even going to see a challenge to their throne?
I mean, Duke is definitely the team to beat, no doubt about it.
Right.
But March Madness is all about surviving and advancing, you know?
Yeah.
Remember what happened last year with Miami?
Yeah.
They were a lower seed, but they peaked at the right time.
Yeah.
Duke's got an incredible offense led by Kyle Filipowski, but their defense has actually been the real surprise this season.
Interesting.
They're holding opponents to under 60 points a game.
Yeah, Coach Shire's really emphasized defense this year.
He has.
Okay, so we've got Duke sitting pretty at the top.
Yeah.
Then we've got Louisville and Clemson battling it out for that potential championship game spot.
Yeah.
But what about Wake Forest? They slid into that 4th seed and snagged the last double bye.
They did.
How did they manage that?
Well, they had quite a battle for that spot, with North Carolina and SMU all ending up with the same conference record.
Oh, wow.
Wake Forest's secret weapon, their head-to-head record.
Okay.
They were undefeated against both UNC and SMU during the regular season, and that made all the difference in the tiebreaker.
Interesting. So those regular season wins really paid off.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Now let's shift gears to the first round.
Okay.
I know you're a big Notre Dame fan.
I am.
They're facing off against Pitt, and both teams finished 8-12 in the conference.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that matchup?
It's going to be a nail-biter, for sure. Notre Dame has had some big wins, but also struggled with consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you were at that Virginia game where they pulled off that last-second upset.
Oh, I was on the edge of my seat that whole game.
Exactly. Pitt has shown they can be dangerous, too, especially when their three-point shooting is on. It's going to come down to who can control the tempo and limit turnovers.
Yeah, those early round games are always so unpredictable.
They are.
We've also got Virginia Tech taking on California, who are making their first ever appearance in the ACC tournament.
That's right.
What can we expect from this newcomer?
Well, California's playing style is a bit of a mystery to the rest of the ACC, which could work to their advantage.
Oh, interesting.
They rely heavily on three-pointers and fast breaks.
Okay.
This could be a problem for a team like Virginia Tech, who we both know struggled to defend the perimeter all season.
Yeah, I could see that being a real issue for the Hokies.
It could be.
Speaking of newcomers, Stanford and SMU are also making their ACC tournament debuts.
Yeah.
Do you think their lack of experience in the conference will hurt them?
It could be a factor. ACC teams are known for their physicality and aggressive defense.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford and SMU haven't faced that kind of pressure consistently.
Right.
They need to adjust quickly if they want to make a run.
I agree with you there. It's going to be fascinating to see how these newcomers handle the pressure.
It will.
Okay, let's talk about a team that I know you've been following closely this season. North Carolina.
Go, yeah.
They landed the 5th seed, which means a tough first-round matchup right out of the gate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on their chances?
North Carolina, you know, they're a real wild card in this tournament.
Okay.
Their 20-12 record might not scream contender, but they've got a ton of talent and have shown flashes of brilliance.
Right.
They almost took down Duke last month, remember?
Oh, yeah, that was a heartbreaker for Tar Heels fans.
Exactly. They can score with anyone in the country, especially when Armando Bacot is dominating the paint. The problem is their inconsistency, you know?
Yeah.
They've also had some head-scratching losses against teams they should have beaten.
Right.
If they can find their rhythm and play with that same intensity they showed against Duke, they could make a serious run.
Okay, so you're saying they're a team no one wants to face in the early rounds. Shifting back to the top of the bracket, Duke seems like the clear favorite.
Yeah.
But could a team like Louisville or Clemson actually dethrone them?
Louisville is definitely a threat.
Okay.
They finished with the same conference record as Duke, and their only 2 losses in the ACC came against Duke and Clemson. What makes them so dangerous is their defensive intensity.
Okay.
They force turnovers, they crash the boards, and they make it incredibly difficult for teams to get into any sort of offensive flow.
Yeah, their defense has been their calling card all season.
For sure.
But Clemson's offense is nothing to sneeze at either.
Oh, absolutely. Clemson can put up points in a hurry.
Right.
They've got multiple players who can create their own shots, and they shoot the 3-ball extremely well.
Yeah.
If they get hot from beyond the arc, they could be a nightmare matchup for any team in this tournament, even Duke.
So we've got some potential for some serious fireworks in the later rounds.
I think so.
But what about some of the other teams? Could Wake Forest make it to the championship game?
Wake Forest is a really interesting team. Yeah. They play a fast-paced, up-tempo style that can be really tough to defend. Plus, they've got a coach in Steve Forbes who knows how to win in March.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, he took East Tennessee State to the NCAA tournament twice before coming to Wake.
Right.
If their key players stay healthy and they continue to shoot well, they could definitely surprise some people.
Okay, so you're saying don't count out the Demon Deacons.
Definitely not.
Now, I have to ask, if you had to put money on one team to pull off a major upset, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know.
There are a few teams that could make some noise, but if I had to choose, I'd say keep an eye on Pitt.
Okay.
They've got a veteran backcourt that can control the game, and they've shown they can pull off upsets, especially in tournament settings.
Yeah.
Remember they knocked off top-seeded Virginia in the ACC tournament a few years back?
Wow, yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a big one.
So they've got the experience and the potential to make things interesting.
I think so.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about potential winners and upsets,
We have.
but let's not forget about the importance of matchups in this tournament.
You're right, matchups are absolutely crucial in a single elimination format like this.
Right.
For example, a team with a dominant big man might struggle against a team that plays small ball and spreads the floor.
Right.
Or a team that relies heavily on three-point shooting might have trouble against a team that excels at defending the perimeter.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's not just about picking the best teams overall.
Yeah.
It's also about understanding how they might match up against their opponent.
Exactly. You need to consider each team's strengths and weaknesses, their style of play, and how they've performed against similar opponents throughout the season.
So, for example, California's fast-paced, three-point-heavy offense might be a problem for a team like Virginia Tech, who has struggled to defend the perimeter all season.
That's a great example. If Virginia Tech can't slow down California's backcourt, they could be in for a long night. On the other hand, if Virginia Tech can dictate the tempo and force California to play in the half court, they might have a better chance.
So it's all about those tactical battles within the game.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the impact of coaching in these situations.
Right.
A coach who can make adjustments, motivate his players, and exploit his opponent's weaknesses can be a huge difference maker in a close game.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
Okay, so we've talked about the top teams, the underdogs, and the importance of matchups.
Yep.
But before we wrap things up, let's shift our focus to the overall tournament format and how to approach filling out those brackets.
Okay, sounds good.
I know everyone's got their brackets ready,
Oh, yeah.
so let's break it down.
All right, let's do it.
The tournament tips off on Tuesday with the first round.
Yep.
The second round follows on Wednesday. Then the quarterfinals on Thursday. The semifinals on Friday. And the championship game on Saturday, March 15th.
That's right.
You know what that means?
Wall-to-wall basketball.
Exactly. And that's what makes this tournament so much fun.
It is.
Every game has the potential for drama and excitement.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So when you're filling out your bracket, what are some key factors you consider?
Well, first and foremost, I look at recent performance.
Okay.
How have teams been playing in the last few weeks leading up to the tournament? Are they on a hot streak or are they struggling to find their rhythm?
Yeah. Momentum can be a powerful force in March.
It really can.
What else do you look at?
I also pay close attention to injuries.
Okay.
If a key player is injured or not 100%, it can significantly impact a team's chances.
That's a great point, especially in the single elimination format.
Absolutely. And finally, I always try to factor in the potential for upsets.
Right.
Every year we see teams come out of nowhere and make a deep run, so don't be afraid to pick a few upsets, especially in those early rounds.
Yeah, that's the beauty of March Madness. Anything can happen.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so exciting.
I know I'm ready for some upsets.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll even see a Cinderella story emerge from the depths of the bracket.
It happens, you never know.
Right. Like, remember when St. Peter's made it all the way to the Elite Eight last year?
Oh yeah?
Nobody saw that coming.
That was incredible.
It just goes to show that anything is possible in this tournament.
For sure.
So before we wrap things up, let me ask you this. Out of all the teams in this bracket, which one do you think has the best chance to pull off a St. Peter's level Cinderella story?
That's a tough one.
It is tough.
There are a few dark horses out there, but if I had to pick one, I'd say keep an eye on California.
Okay.
They're playing with a lot of confidence right now, and their up-tempo style could cause problems for some of the higher seeds.
I like it. A California versus Duke championship game would be the ultimate David versus Goliath matchup.
Oh man, that would be something else.
All right, so we've covered the top contenders, the underdogs, the importance of matchups, and even the potential for a Cinderella story.
We have.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they fill out their brackets?
Yeah, just remember to have fun with it.
Okay.
Don't overthink it, and don't be afraid to trust your gut. Sometimes those unexpected picks end up being the most rewarding.
Great advice. So to all our listeners out there, get those brackets ready and get ready for some thrilling basketball.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back next week to break down all the action from the first round. Until then, happy hoops watching.
Enjoy the